people? Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast, where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer, and this week on the show, I am joined by Luke Taylor for a game of Troika. Luke, TheLukeMan on Twitch, is the host of one of my favorite shows on the entire internet, and that is Fortnite Talk Show. The show is honestly exactly what it sounds like. Luke joins a Fortnite game, jumps into a group, and chats with the players that he's playing with like it's a talk show. It is, without hesitation, one of the most joyful things that exists on the internet. If you like this show and you like the way that like we have a conversation by way of playing a game and we share these experiences and like you get that little bit of vulnerability, I think it really comes across in Fortnite Talk Show in a way that is frankly incredible. Luke is also one of the hosts of a podcast called Stores with Dead Blossom Jesse about, well, stores. It's a podcast about going to stores. Guests come on and they talk about a store, their experiences, whether it's their favorite store, least favorite store. It's certainly a store. They've certainly gone to it and they certainly talk about the experience. And last but not least, Luke is also the creator, alongside Pat Gill, of a thing that is deeply, deeply special to me, and that is AMV Night, which is a regularly occurring event on Twitch where they put out a call for people to make custom AMVs of whatever they like alongside a specific theme. It is so deeply important to me, and I've seen some AMVs for things that I never thought I would see AMVs for. It's remarkable, it's incredible, and I love all of it. You can find Luke pretty much anywhere on the internet at TheLukeMan, or you can check the show notes for more information. Troika is a standalone science fantasy role-playing game where you and your cosmopolitan group of travelers explore the ends of the multiverse. You fly on barges, help dying gods, solve confounding crimes, plunder dead worlds, and meet strange and wonderful people. It is a very surreal, very at times absurd, at times droll and dry, like very odd fantasy role-playing game, kind of in a science, fantasy, magical, realist place. I love it a lot as a game. I've been very excited to bring it on the show for a very long time. And you can learn more about the game at troikarpg.com or check the show notes for more information. This episode also uses material from the Troika Adventures The House on Lich Lane, which you can find at unchartedworlds.itch.io, Moon's Shot, which you can find at signalstation.itch.io, and Automatown, which you can find at shemayimagines.itch.io. Now, before we dive in, I do have a brief call to action for you, the party people listening at home. And that is, I have like a personal dream wish to see like 100 new Apple Podcast reviews on the show in 2026. Recently, like a very prominent guest who I think would be a really cool fit for the show, put out a call that they were specifically looking to guest on a large number of shows, provided that each of those shows had over 100 Apple reviews. And like I think have 106, so like we're right at that line, but it did get me thinking, I know that Apple reviews do not like boost your place in an algorithm and they don't like achieve a thing mechanically, but they do provide a sort of social cover for guests, that you are pitching the show to someone and saying, hey, this is a show that has merit and here's the why. Like that number has value and I would love to see that number crest 200 by the end of the year. So all of that is to say, if you enjoy the show and like you have not given us a review on Apple, like it helps, and especially helps as I'm booking new and bigger and weirder guests for me to look and say, look how excited the audience is for the show. Anyway, that is my pre-episode call to action. And with all of that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am so very excited. I have been putting together notes and pulling down adventure things all day for this episode. I think this is going to be an absolute blast. I'm sitting down with Luke Taylor. Luke, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. I'm very excited to be here.
I could not be more excited. I think this is going to be so great. But before we get into our lovely game today, why don't you take a moment, let our lovely listeners at home know about what you've got going on you might want them to know about.
Yeah, so I'm a streamer and a podcaster of my own, if you can believe it. I do a show on Twitch called Fortnite Talk Show where I go into random squads and fill, like I get with random people. And then I try and see if they'll let me interview them. And it works more than you would think. It's very fun, super fun show. I just kind of, shoot the shit with people, kind of see what's going on in their lives. It's great. And then I also have a podcast called Stores where me and another streamer have comedians and streamers on. And if you can believe it, we go to the store. So Best Buy, yep, that's an episode. There you go.
Phenomenal. Fortnite Talk Show is one of those ideas that you sit back and watch, and it does work more often than not. And like every time it works, there's a like a magic that keys into it.
Yeah.
Where like when you really hear people start to open up and like when you hear people key into what's unfolding, remarkable.
Thank you, man.
It's the greatest.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's so funny, the ideas we have in our lives, because I would say it is now one of the main things I do. It was a phrase that came to my mind one afternoon. I threw all together the like graphics for it in like an hour. And now I do it twice a week or 3 times a week every week. And I love doing it so much. But it's, it's just it's so good to show you sometimes the simpler the idea. It's just like, yeah, let's do it. It's just I'm talking to people on Fortnite. Cool.
And sometimes it really is that idea that makes you laugh is the one that is going to catch fire because that's the one that like you feel that creative burst of energy towards.
Totally. I like that's really what it is too, is because I've done over the year, like I've streamed for a few years now and I've done a lot of I've always been obsessed with like call-in shows and talk shows and interview shows. And of all the formats I've done, this is the one where I'm just like, I've never not been excited to do it. It's about 9 months I've been doing it. And I love it. It's so fun. It's so crazy what people are willing to talk to me about once they're like realize. But the biggest hurdle of that show is is convincing them that I'm not trying to prank them in some way, and then it's okay.
Which is such a funny hurdle to have to get over because you are presenting them with such an absurd premise that to then have to be like, no, I promise this is real. I promise it sounds bizarre, but I promise what we're doing here is like a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real show. And it's a real talk show, and it's not going to end with me like completely flipping the script and saying something crazy to you to make you mad. I promise you, because that's a lot of like, gaming, talking to strangers content is like that. And part of the reason I like doing it is like, I think the vibe of it is very legitimately good, which is nice. And
it
easy
is,
for me
especially in gaming. It's nice to have that like legitimately nice energy. Also, I have to specifically thank you because you have, with another project that you've been doing the last couple months, have brought energy back into my life, which is to say that all of my friends in all of my Discords have been furiously putting AMVs together and sharing with me updates about the AMVs that they're working on.
Oh, really? Oh, dude, it is so okay. So if you don't know what we're talking about, me and my friend Pat Gill do a sort of every few months we do an AMV contest, and anyone can submit. We have a theme. If you don't know what an AMV is, it's an anime music video. It doesn't have to be anime, but music set to clips and scenes from a media property. And it's so amazing to me how much people like doing it, because when we're on number 4 now, and me and Pat were like, well, we got to make at least 2 or 3 because no one's going to want to make this for the first one. And now we're like, we need to make one short one each because it's fun, but we need to, because if we do too many of our own, the show is growing exponentially larger. Let me just put it that way, in a really fun way. I'm seeing so many people who are like, dude, I've never edited before, and this is the most like I love doing this. I look forward to it, and it's very fun. It's a very good vibe.
That's exactly the vibe that like I've been seeing among my friends. Like, we're all like audio podcasters who are like, I guess I'm learning video. I've downloaded DaVinci for the first time, and I'm laying this out in front of me because I'm not normal about Shadow the Hedgehog, so I need to put some things together. I need to grab some music and make this happen.
It does, and I love that too, because it does come from a place where neither me or Pat made AMVs when we were the age where we would have made AMVs, like when in 2005 when we were in like middle school or whatever. But we always wanted to, and I think we've tapped into the fact that a lot of people around our age also secretly always wanted to. So we're all like having this nice second childhood moment together of what happens when you put a Blink-182 song to like Naruto footage.
It's real. The energy is real. I after watching one of the AMV nights, I started putting together what I think will be my grand masterwork, which is a Mountain Goats This Year AMV set to the Achewood arc where roast beef takes off to the moon. God, if I get the images sized correctly, it's gonna speak to my soul.
I feel like that is going to be truly, Jeff, an arrow through the heart of the exact demographic of people that watch that show too. Like that is like the mountain to go Achewood. Like people are going to go, like that's going to make people start reverberating with energy because they
Sleeper
feel
Cell
so
Awakening
seen.
is the vibe that I'm chasing after.
What'd you say? What
I said Sleeper Cell Awakening, like activation phrase.
Yeah. We're all going to have our MK Ultra shit go off when we see our this music and visual stuff we looked at the most combined. Finally,
that's the end goal. So we've got a game today. I'm so excited about it. We are playing Troika. Troika is like a science fantasy adventure game. Very sort of surreal, very kind of lighthearted, very sort of big ideas. In a weird, ever-expanding city surrounded by universes contained within spheres. I sent you over a couple games. This is the one that's really jumped out at you. Talk to me about what it is that draws you towards this game in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I saw, because in your very great sum up of them, I mean, what really jumped to me is it said it was like Book of the New Sun, which is like those Gene Wolfe books are like my favorite science fiction books ever. I think they're amazing and crazy. I read them a few years ago and I was just like, I've never really read anything like that since. I love how crazy the world is. I like how it's there. You don't basically have no idea what's going on in those books at all, and yet they're still completely enjoyable to read. And I love there's like a spoiler if you haven't read this series, but I think it's something that is really shown a lot in Troika of what I can tell is there's this kind of reveal where you think you're in a fantasy setting and then you realize it's actually so far in the future that it appears more like fantasy than science fiction, but is in fact science fiction. And there are robots and spaceships, but like nothing is called anything recognizable. And I love it so much. It's one of my favorite series. So I thought this seemed fun and kind of seemed up my alley.
I feel really excited about it. It's one that like, when I was asking around about like cool, weird science fantasy games, this one was the first one that was mentioned, and it was sent to me with a message that said, I can't believe that you've been doing this show for 10 years and you have not played this game. And so like the mark of it is high for me. Cool. And I've been pulling a bunch of published Troika adventures that I am going to like haphazardly mash together. All of them will be credited in the show notes. You'll be able to check all of them out. But I have got a fun little scenario prepped. I've got some adventure things planned. But to do that, we need a character. You have gone through the character creation process of Troika, which really is find a weird character background and imagine who that guy is. So let me ask you this. Who's your weird guy?
Well, it was you sent me a great thing, which is just this character generator that will just pull random backgrounds from the I don't know, it's like 500 different backgrounds, which was awesome because I had looked at all the ones in the base game and this is just like that plus more. And it really is crazy because it ranges from like Demon Hunter, very like classic RPG, to like guy who sells eggs, and that's his whole thing. And his power is that he can always make an egg come from somewhere in his body and shit. So it was hard because I kept hitting him, but I think I've settled on one, which is a character. I'm going to call him Parker S. He is a living skeleton. He's a like sort of a classic fantasy, animated skeleton, but the sort of his trick of him is that he knows that he is just magic bones, so he doesn't always appear as human. He is human bones, but he can put where the bones are to take like shitty little different forms that are like better at like fighting or jumping, kind of, but not really because it's still just human bones. Really, truly,
what a slam dunk of a character background. What a slam dunk of a concept. And, like, ties into the adventure that I have written. Hearing you describe it and think about it, like, in a way that I think is really fun, to the point where there's now an entire prologue in my head that we kind of have to play through.
Incredible.
Which is to say that we are opening at court. We are in a courthouse in the grand city of Troika, which is the epicenter of the myriad thousand spheres of space, the thousand worlds around us. And we are at court. I want to ask you, what was the scenario? Where did your character die? And as an extension, I guess the second half of that question is, where did your character wake up as a pile of bones?
That is a great question. And I believe that I was a man completely unremarkable in life, so much so that all I know is my first name and my last initial. I think I was basically a peasant. Parker was just doing his best until he sort of just randomly got, executed by flying by a laser gun bolt that had nothing to do with him. Powers much bigger than him were fighting and having a sort of tete-a-tete in the street. And he took the brunt of it. And then, he got a second chance as a necromancer's thrall. But like many great necromancers who court death, that necromancer died. But unfortunately, Parker's spell did not. So for the last few hundred years, he's just kind of been wandering around as a masterless pile of bones, kind of doing his thing, kind of seeing the world, seeing the spheres that he never got to see as just a regular bag of flesh and bones who no one would pay attention to. But now as a magic walking skeleton, the people are paying attention. Okay, people are looking up at Parker and saying, "I got to see what's going on with this guy."
I love this so much. I can tell you exactly what the first interaction of this character that we see is. We are in like an acid-soaked desert environment. Parker is on a wind sail, like in the midst of a race, midst of some kind of Mad Max style climactic chase sequence, when a gyrocopter hovers down. Somebody jumps onto the back of this hover chariot, and it is a frog man in a business suit, and he's got an envelope, and he hands it to Parker, and inside is clearly a half deed, half summons that you have been requested in court in the city of Troika to resolve matters of what was left to you in life.
Awesome.
Hundreds of years ago.
Great. Okay. All right. Yeah. They finally tracked down what my family has left me, kind of, after all these years. Yeah.
Yeah. This lawyer has been trying to give you this notice that a lot was left in your name for centuries, and has finally located you, which brings us back to this courthouse.
Cool.
Where you are being awarded the house on Lich Lane, a tiny house, like a kind of a cottagey, manor is a nice way to put it. It's run down, it's dilapidated. It clearly had been owned in someone's name for several hundred years, and that person was off being a skeleton, so has fallen into a certain state of disrepair.
Yeah.
But it is a home in your own name. Congratulations, you have become a homeowner.
Wow, I never thought it was possible, but here I am. Can I also just add one detail? I know we've completely moved on, but I think this is important if I'm racing in the desert. I think it's important that I, Parker, have racing goggles on, even though I don't need them, that to see the letter I then took off my eye sockets. I just need that to be part of our journey together.
You're in the Troika headspace. This is where the magic is happening.
Great.
I would be upset if we didn't put that detail. Because now I'm just going to envision the racing goggles on your forehead throughout the rest of this adventure.
Yeah. I'd like the racing goggles and maybe even a little wind scarf, It
wouldn't feel complete without it.
Great. Just making sure we got that down. Well, this is great. I mean, I thought, but I got to be honest. I think this comes with a little bit of, I'm hesitant a bit here because I thought I had put this life behind me, and here it comes, and it's in a physical representation.
even more so because I think like you've got this uncertainty. I guess like as you're approaching, we load you onto a bus, which is to say like a giant siltworm like in Morrowind, and they load you on it to get to the other side of the city. What's going through your head, and like what is your goal to settle down here? Is your goal to get it polished up and sell it to the next sucker in line? Like, what is it that you are looking for? Are you looking for remnants of your old life? Like, what is it that your character is hoping to get out of the house on Lich Lane?
I've lived a lot of lives in this last couple 100 years. Wind racer, barge captain. But what I've never been, hold on, I'm going to take that again. I've lived a lot of lives this last few 100 years as a sentient pile of bones. I've been a wind racer, captain of my own starship, politician, family man. But the one thing I've never been, because I've had no need for what it would bring, is a small business owner. And what I would like to do is turn this small house into... I'm still figuring out exactly what we're going to sell, but I would love to. I've always dreamed of the bottom floor of my house being a beautiful little curiosity shop, and then the top floor being where I live. That's what I want.
Incredible for reasons that will become clear.
Okay.
Fantastic. Also, I need to call out the montage that we see of Parker in all of these other roles as a skeleton in a business suit standing at a podium on board of a space. Very funny. Every single visual, extremely funny.
Yeah, definitely. And he's always. I like to imagine Parker is someone who always dresses for the job, though he needs no clothes. Just out of he and himself is an actor who has taken on many roles, and it's important to him to get them right, whether or not the things that he needs, I would need as a man to do them, he needs as a big pile of bones.
I adore this. We see the giant pill bug ride up onto this dilapidated kind of Munsters or Addams Family-esque manor on kind of the outskirts of town. Clearly this was something that was left to you by like a rich relative, and waiting in front of it, looking, at least from her body language, impatient, is what appears to you, what you would presume to be the previous occupant, the owner of the lease, the housekeeper, what have you, which is a you could tell by her outfit that she is a witch. Big floppy witch hat, a lot of scarves, a tremendous amount of of flapping scarves and like books and things kind of hung on pouches, so many pouches and belts. What is clearly missing though, and like you can't tell if it's just that there is so many clothes that you can't see a person underneath, or if there is not a person underneath, is a person inside of those clothes. Got it.
Okay.
Standing and like flapping and fluttering and rink and like swooshing and billowing. This witch is like looking at, you see a sleeve come up and a watch come out of the sleeve, and she's looking at the watch and sees you, clearly instantly recognizes, presumably she knew she was waiting for a skeleton, and like excitedly like waves you over as she starts like picking up suitcases.
Incredible. I go up to her and the smooth operator that I am, I do the thing that like when you think you're supposed to know someone, but you have no idea what their name is. I go, "Hey, you."
And she like billows and flaps, and what sound like words kind of flap in the wind, like if you were to hear kind of words echo from the shaking of dust off of a towel, kind of flutters. Parker, I presume. Not many skeletons are coming off of the bus. Not here. Not from the front no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Delighted to have you here. Delighted to gift this property back to you. Wonderful. Great day for me. Any questions that I can answer? I do have to run very quickly, so please make them quick.
Yeah, no problem. I just, first I want to thank you for doing such a great job taking care of this old manor of mine all these years as I was, out across the stars. May I ask, is there anything I should know about the house before I go inside? You've been taking care of it, correct?
As you say the words, taking good care of it, you hear the unmistakable sound of an explosion somewhere in the underlayers of the house. At that moment, like a jalopy, like an old-timey car kind of pulls up, and she kind of like almost dishevels for a minute and like sort of like flops to the ground and then recomposes herself. This is my ride. I promise, all good things. Well, there is the matter of, there's the other dimensions and the crossover, and the other tenants also have legal claim on account of in their world. They've got the legal claim to the house. It's all fine. It'll work itself out. You're gonna love them. It's all great. I gotta go. Enjoy the house. Take good care of it. Please don't accidentally puncture a hole in the cosmos and render all life non-existent. Don't worry about that. Odds of that happening are, I won't say slim, but don't worry about it. I gotta go. You're gonna have a great time.
Okay. Can you tell? So am I like? Do I need to collect rent? Is there like a day of the month I collect rent, or are we in this together? Hello?
has flopped and opens the trunk of the car, flops into it, and folds herself like a pile of clothes as the jalopy drives off, leaving you with the wide open house and clearly the sounds of people inside. Okay.
All right. You know what? I'm a man of the people ultimately, or I was, now I'm a skeleton. I am a skeleton. So I'm going to do what a good skeleton would do. And I'm going to, okay. All right. So on my character sheet, it says all skeletons can test their luck to absorb memories of an object, creature, or location they are touching.
Oh, that rips. Holy shit.
Can I go up? Can I go up and say something like, if these walls could talk, well, maybe they can, and put my long bony fist up to the door frame?
100%. Roll me. So you're going to roll 2d6. All actions in Troika are rolled with a number of d6. You're going to roll 2d6. What's your current luck score?
It is 12.
Great. So then you're gonna, wow, you are very lucky. You're gonna roll, your goal is to roll equal or less than your current luck score. With 2d6, not especially difficult to hit a 12.
Sure. Wait, okay. I think I understand. So roll 2d6. Okay.
Yeah, roll 2d6.
Oh, right, because is it the thing that it's like it's like the number, it's like the first number and then the second number? It's like I don't add them up. I do if it's 1, 6, it's 16. Am I overthinking this?
Oh yeah. That's for if they're rolling a d66. Like there are times where that'll be the case. For a 2d6, you're just adding them together.
Okay. All right. I got a 5 and a 4.
So you've rolled under your luck. You've successfully tested your luck. Your luck now drops down by 1, so you drops to 11.
Okay.
What you unlock as you touch the railing on the stoop, the gate kind of opens for you, and you kind of see. This has been on my mind. I feel like I'm cursed to have to eventually watch this movie. Do you remember this? The trailers came out for this last year, the Tom Hanks movie Here, where it was all
yeah. And I have in fact seen it. I saw it in theaters, so I'm intimately aware what the concept of Here.
Great. You see a Here montage is the best way to describe it of the house in front of you, and you kind of see that it is the history of it unfolds in front of you, and for a moment, you're home. For a moment, this is the tiny farm cottage that you remember from your peasant life. And then it changes hands, and you see a family move in. You kind of see the farm prosper. You know, a farm becomes a farm business. You watch them become wealthy. You watch the house expand. And then you watch them continue to become wealthier and wealthier and the house to continue to expand. And you start seeing pulses. You start seeing spheres, other worlds contained within these massive orbs. And the house keeps expanding. They keep building. It almost seems like they just never stopped building as long as they were alive, and they've just been constructing and puncturing into different spheres, and it is almost impossible to know how large on the inside this house really is, simply because they never stopped building and never stopped placing new rooms in new places in new sections of this colossal multiverse that is Troika.
Wow.
And you see, like, glimpses of worlds beyond and people coming and going. And for a moment, like, you see these other places and you see that, like, other people turned them into their houses because, you know, when the original owners passed away, like, they had claim over this house, but they didn't talk about, like, the hallways they built to the Nether Realm, and somebody in the Nether Realm moved into that house because it was old and abandoned. So that seems to be the situation that you find yourself in.
Okay. All right. But I like to think at one point in time, this was no Netherworld house. This was just a simple farmer's estate. And I was that farmer. And I think everybody there is going to be pretty excited to learn who the new king of the house is. I believe.
I bet they are, yeah. So that's the situation. As you head inside, you can see there is, you head up the stairs, you head inside, you head into the front door. To your left, there is like a spiral staircase heading up to the upper floors. In front of you, there is like, the sort of outdoor, hold on, I have to, sometimes you find a word in a game that you gotta have to Google and confirm what you're. Okay, you see, like, you can kind of see to your left is a spiral staircase. To your right is sort of a foyer den. In front of you, you can see is clearly like set up as an outdoor sunroom. Which of those? Which direction are you going to be heading towards?
I guess it's hard for me to not be curious about what does a sunroom look like, even though I just walked inside and I'm in a city and I'm in a house. So I'm going to head there.
As you head into the sunroom, you realize like what the reality of this house is, which is to say, imagine if like you didn't see this on the outside. On the outside, it was just like a nice house. But now that you're in the solarium, like you can see, how do you react when you see all of the multiverse swirling around you in infinity?
So it's okay. All right. I think okay. I think that I could handle it. What I understood it was just bridging realities, but now I am. So you're saying I'm seeing infinity before me?
Yeah, like through the sort of like upper window screen sunroof of a sunroom, infinity is swirling all around you as sort of this house seems to have been built into a sort of multiversal junction point connecting all things.
Well, you know, it's not my first time around the universe. Look, I'm not the farm boy that I left this house as, you know? So I play it cool, you know? I play it cool. Well, you know, maybe internally I'm feeling to myself, this is a little overwhelming. Am I sort of inherently terrified as, you know, not a mortal man, but but still quite literally, you know, at least the bones of a normal man. But I play it cool and I look up and I go, huh, nice screensaver, dude.
From around the corner, you now that you said something out loud, from around the corner, around like behind some shelves and sort of you just hear, Oh, we have a visitor. We have possibly a customer, possibly a client. Wonderful. And you see the tail before you see a person, and a massive, between a 10 and 11 foot tall crocodile, wearing a crushed velvet suit, sort of, lurches around the corner and sort of like begins sort of walking around you, kind of half predatory, half delightedly, and is like, "It is wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for visiting. What can we do for you today?"
Well, I'm actually, that is a great question here. That is a great question, what you could do for me. I am in fact curious what everyone here can do for me. For my name is Parker S. And if you look and I pull out the Dean and I hold it, this is actually my house.
And grabs it with one of its crocodile claws, and then he looks at it and he puts it down and he kind of like bats it back and forth with the edge of his snout and just continues to walk in a circle. This is quite the dilemma, indeed. It says here that you are the rightful owner of this house as it exists in Sphere 14765. This is quite the dilemma. For you see, and like with a tail swipe, it knocks a book off of a shelf that flops open to a deed on another page. I, legal owner of this house in 24680. Quite the dilemma, indeed.
And what sphere are we in now?
I think, like, what a great question. I think, like, it instantly pauses Jeff, which, I mean, it has to mean that it instantly pauses the crocodile. Well, I mean, I came into the house in Sphere 24680. Where did you come from?
Well, I have to. I mean, I got to be honest. I came from the city. You know, dare I say, the fulcrum of this whole dang multiverse, as far as I know. But if you want to call it Sphere 1145 or whatever's on that sheet, that's fine by me. But look, I remember when this house was nothing more than four walls, a straw thatched roof, and a family.
They're gonna begin monologuing. Here it goes.
Oh yes, I remember. When I had much more. When I had a penis between my legs and an asshole and a mouth and nose and eyes and ears. The things that I saw and heard in here would make your blood curdle, because it was wholesome. Family memories, a family coming together against the odds, surviving. But now I'm not the same farm boy I left this house. I returned, not exactly a man, but a skeleton man. And this is my house. And whether or not anybody who's added to it or come back or say they're from who's or what's it, I don't knows where, this is my house first and foremost. And I think it's past time the tenants here start giving me my due.
I think, kind of pauses and, like, crocks his head and is like, what is your... I think, like, smiles with, I mean, you don't drop this character in and not get to use the euphemism. Smiles with a crocodile smile and says, like, what is it that you intend to do with this house, if I may ask?
Of course. I mean, that's a a completely reasonable question for your new landlord. You know, I have been a lot of things in my lives, really. I mean, God knows I've gone much past whatever I thought possible, the years that I'd be in this fucked up universe. What I want to do is pretty simple. I don't want to intrude on whatever your business is. I don't want you to, but I want to be able to run mine. You know when you go to the beach? Okay, listen. You know when you go to the beach and there's a store that sells like old candy at it? Does that track for you, sir? Do you know what I'm talking? We're selling saltwater taffies. They're selling all the kinds of candies and sodas they made before they really knew how to make candies and sodas well. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know of a shop where they sell sort of roadkill animals for them you tear into with your massive jaw. Is it kind of similar to that?
Yeah, but imagine, okay, all right, good. That's a good jumping off point. It's sort of like that, but then also if it was animals, you're like, oh, I didn't know they still made those.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. So
Dodo beaks, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I didn't know they still, I thought those were all, I thought people didn't really like the taste of those anymore. Oh, that's kind of fun.
Delightful. Oh, this is a delightful You know, I too fancy myself a shopkeeper, and if I'm being completely honest, I was eyeing this place as a sort of central location for the various comers and goers of this house to sell objects that they may find, as, I don't know if you know this, but the house has changed a bit since you, well, as you so colorfully put it, since there was a dick between your legs.
Yeah, I think I can tell that. And I sort of try and laugh, but it just sounds like my lower jaw, like sort of slamming over and over against my skull.
It sounds like perhaps a partnership might be in order.
So wait a minute. You're telling me you want to run some sort of kind of convenience store, but specifically for the people that live in this house?
For the various magical or haunted or horrifying objects that should not be that they uncover, yes. We would, I think a natural extension of that would be candies and treats and souvenirs. Imagine, if you will, and like now he's kind of pacing around you in like more of a circle. Imagine, if you will, you have entered a house from some sphere on the outer edge of the multiverse. You explore this cavernous, infinite space. You find something that should not be, that defies all of the laws of reality. Would you not want perhaps a t-shirt? Perhaps a nice treat to celebrate, such a momentous...
You need a cold drink after such a big adventure through the house. And it's a house. You don't know what, and it's so big, you know, we don't know what water is running where, but if there was a central place people could go to get Gatorades and stuff.
Putting aside the choice of term, yes, Gatorade. You understand. And he's like, you see the vision here. I think there's a very natural partnership here with a, frankly, captive clientele that the two of us together, we could, if only, could make something very profitable.
If only why? Why can't we do this amazing idea? I mean, good sir, I have to tell you, this seems like absolute perfect happenstance. You come to me, a man who knows business, and I, a man of the stars, a magic walking skeleton man that wants to do nothing more than service the good people of this house? What if only?
Well, there is the house lord. If we could perhaps, and I think rolls his eye. The best way to describe it is he rolls his eyes with the exact effect of a cartoon fantasy vizier of like if only we could deal with the house lord, and then, I mean, certainly claims of the rest of the house would fall in line fairly quickly, but alas, what are we supposed to do?
Who is this house lord? I mean, unless I'm not understanding my document, wouldn't I, if there was going to be anyone who was the original? Now, listen, I don't mind people living in this house. In fact, I think with this idea in mind, it actually seems like a great resource for us to keep our small business alive. But if anyone was going to be the lord, if anyone in this big house was going to be the lord, should it not be I, the original farm boy from Pencil Nowhere, raised up on my bootstraps? That's how I used to talk when I was alive. Should I not be that house lord?
I could not have said it better myself. And like wrapping you really quickly in his tail just enough to like spin you on your heels back towards the stairs. There at the upper level of the house lives the, well, originally house guardian that upon the death of every of the original owners from the city refashioned himself into what he described as the House Lord. There have been pretenders to his throne, but only one of them seems to be the proper. The challenge is, and perhaps the opportunity, is well, you'll see. There are opportunities to perhaps ease the burden of eliminating the House Lord, if, well, you'll see.
Wait a minute. We don't have to be so hasty. I mean, you just said this guy used to work for me, or at least my family, correct?
I suppose that is true. Perhaps there is an entrepreneurial spirit, or professional loyalty, or at the very least, simple intimidation of one's superiors.
I'm superior. I would say exactly I am the superior. I mean, you're telling me this guy is basically the glorified groundskeeper, and I'm supposed to call him the Lord now? I mean, this will not stand. I'm Parker S.
You are indeed, and so go forth, claim your place, and I'll talk to the next one when you drop dead. And anyway, continue, my liege.
All right, bye.
Lays back down, puts his head kind of sleeping cat style. Dumb son of a bitch.
I don't hear that.
As you head towards the spiral staircase, you immediately hear the clanging of steel. There are the sounds, crashing of wood, the clanging of steel. There is a crisis happening on the stairwell.
I start taking, I kind of rush, I pick up my step a little because I'm like, uh-oh, someone's messing up my house.
You arrive, as you start to climb up the stairs, I'm going to ask you for a skill roll. Because, cool. I think that you need to dodge, I need to know how quickly you can dodge a body.
Gotcha. Okay. So I roll a d6?
Yeah. Roll me, let me remind myself. I believe it is. Yes, you're going to roll me 1d6. No, you're going to roll me 2d6, and your goal is to roll under your skill number.
Okay, I don't think that's possible. I rolled a 6 total, and my skill is 5.
Great. Okay. You are going to lose 2 points of stamina. Okay. And I need to know what it looks like when you put yourself back together very literally, because as you start to climb the stairs, a fully armored knight in blue and white military garb is hurled at full speed down the stairs, crashes into the wall of the spiral staircase, slams into you at full speed, and scatters your bones to all corners around the room.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. It was a bit of a bone explosion. They went everywhere. They all sort of they're sort of magnetized to one another. They sort of slowly, there's almost something strangely organic, though. I mean, I know they're organic. They are hard. They kind of slither all together and sort of slowly gets closer and closer together. Not probably over the course of a minute or so, until they kind of just they start glowing a little, and they kind of get back into human form, but maybe the hands are the right hands where the left hand should be. I don't get it quite right because I have to do it really fast. And it's there's a bigger rib where there should be a smaller one. And I put myself finally back together and I go, dude, what the hell?
A skeleton on guard.
No, whoa.
Huh?
Yes, I am a skeleton, but my name is Parker S, and I come from a long line okay, really quickly. I was a man hundreds of years ago, and I own this house, and now I'm back because I got turned into a skeleton, but I'm still the same guy. I'm still part of that incredible S clan that you serve.
He was standing with in an unguard fencing position, and he's by this point lowered his sword and has started doing air math with his fingers to try and keep track of the bits of lore. Aha. Yes, I do believe that that in another life, in another sphere, our families were great political allies. I believe this. However, and kind of inches closer, the others, those bastard pretenders, might not feel the same. Your family may, your reputation may, precede you. I advise we move with caution. I advise we strike fast, and I advise that we leave no one alive.
Now, okay, so let me get this straight. These pretenders, are these I've heard tell of them from other denizens of this house. Are these the self-proclaimed lords of this house?
They are claimants to the throne.
Okay.
I myself am a claimant of the throne. And kind of takes like a knightly kneel, am Sir Crestworth the Blue, at your service, Parker S., Lord of this house.
Great.
The bastards the bastards upstairs.
Now, Lord Crestwood, I'm going to say this as tactfully as I can. You know, the first thing I saw with you is I did see you get thrown down the stairs pretty violently. Can you kind of tell me what was going on up there that led to that? Because I'd like to kind of go in, with as much information as I can. And if I'm going to be honest and I'm looking for allies, a guy who seemingly got thrown downstairs is not necessarily, I'm kind of just trying to suss out your strength. Let's just put it like that as a lord. And that's important to do as a lord.
I was struck from behind. I was ambushed by the bastard claimant of the throne, Lord Crestwood the Yellow. Puh! She struck me from behind and sent me hurtling down the stairs.
He's also a Crestwood?
She is, we are, I am. Are you aware of the theory of the multiverse?
I think I get I get the big points. I get the summary. Yeah, there's a bunch of multiverses and they all kind of converge on the big house. Is there something I'm missing?
Well, she claims a liar with a poisoned tongue to be the noble guardian destined to dethrone the lord of the house. I, knowing through the truth in my heart, am the destined warrior that will dethrone the lord of the house and liberate it once and for all. She claims that her family raised her as a warrior with this singular purpose. Pathetic lies of a child pretending to be a soldier. I know from my noble upbringing that I was raised from birth to liberate this house with the single purpose of defeating the lord of the house in singular combat. I know these things. She believes that because we have the same parents with slightly differently spelled names, that she is somehow entitled to this more those than I am, but I was raised from this from birth. Are you following?
Yeah, I think I am. So is she your sister, or is she like a slightly different version of you from a different universe? Just tell me that, and I think I'll pretty much understand your entire thing.
Okay, yeah, this is when the situation pops off. From over your, you hear the scraping of metal on wood from the doorway of the house, and you kind of turn just in time to see from behind you a knight in the exact same clothing as Sir Crestwood raises, "Foolish pretenders, doppelgangers, bestial impersonators wearing my face. They claim to be me of other worlds, but I, Sir Crestwood the Red, shall liberate this house and defeat the lord of the house."
All right. You know what? I've got a pretty good idea about what's going on here. Sir Crestwood the Red, it is I of the S clan, the original owners of this house. Do you dare go against your original former master, your political ally, the original S clan that owns this, or do you swear loyal to me here now where you stand?
He takes a step back. I'm gonna ask you to roll me luck here. I think
cool.
This could go. There's at least a chance, since you have luck of 11, that this could go wrong.
Okay, cool. 2. So 4 on 12 or an 11.
Great. Your luck drops to 10.
Okay.
Crestwood the Red takes a knee immediately and is like, the S clan, they saved my life. They gave me a purpose. They raised me from birth to lay waste to the Lord of the
Okay,
house.
good. That's awesome. That's so good, and I love it. I really do, and I'm sure it's. I know the story actually, and it's super great, and we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about it. But we kind of got to keep moving here. So if as long as you pledge fealty to me, that's wonderful. Welcome. I sort of I look around the room and I see like a broom, and I like kind of just quick a bit of it, and I just go mutter some stuff under my breath, and I knight him. Rise, Sir Crestwood the Red, for you are now a knight in the House of S. Meet your fellow knight, Sir Crestwood the Blue.
Sir Crestwood the Blue, I see. They like have like a clear standoff and then like hover, and then from above you hear, Clan of S? The clan that murdered my parents? That left my kingdom to ruin? And coming, like, tearing down the stairs, swirling a flail over her head is Sir Crestwood the Yellow. Clearly not super happy with whatever your family did on a parallel universe.
Oh, man. So good to see you after all these years. Did I say my last name was S? Yes, of course I did. Ma'am, do you understand the concept of a multiverse?
I understand the concept that I was raised by birth to seek vengeance upon you and this lord of your house, to rid the world of the final stain of your putrid legacy. That is what I understand.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. This is sort of would you kill a baby just because its parents were bad? I mean, that's kind of what you're hitting me with now. I didn't know about any of this. I've been a skeleton for the last 300 years. I didn't know about any of this stuff till today.
How?
I can't, and by the way, my seed is gone. I have no genitals to speak of. I'm a big floating pile of bones.
She kind of stops, like, mid-swing of the flail. It's an interesting question. If the baby... Would killing the baby prevent a future catastrophe?
I mean, it's a baby.
Right, but, like, is this a situation... In this situation that you posit, and she's, like, now leaning against a wall, and I think the other two Crestwoods are equally wrapped and leaning against the wall. Is this a situation where I have been tasked with killing a baby that exists now, or have I been sent to an earlier time to avert a catastrophe by killing the baby? And the two Crestwoods are, that's a good point. No, that actually does change things. The context in which you're fighting the baby does mean a lot. It means a lot. It changes a lot.
Right. I guess my counterpoint stands, which is, it's a baby. You're gonna kill a baby? Aren't you guys like knights?
The other, I think all three Crestwoods pause for a moment. Well, I mean, it's sort of an ethical quandary, really, when you think about it. I mean, if this baby could potentially cause great bloodshed, it's got some real ethical implication. It's really, I mean, it's a brain teaser, is what it is. I mean, it's sort of it's a moral, you're morally testing us to see if we're loyal enough to be the knights in your retinue.
That's right.
This is why I pledged fealty to him. That's what it is. This is exactly why we pledged fealty.
Exactly right. Now, going Crestwood the Yellow, you're thinking to yourself, probably, how could a man who's capable of such brain teasery be nothing more than who is the rightful lord of this house and will lead you and your clan back to greatness from the gutter from whence you came?
She is so deep in thought of like, yeah, no, that's airproof logic. I got nothing. Let's go kill the lord of the house.
Thank God. Okay. All right, let's do it. Knights, assemble.
They all like stand up and get ready, and bursting through, running up the stairs, kicking down a door. And there in front of you is the lord of the house. In what appears to be, like, as you open this door, you open it not to the upper floor of a house, but to a gigantic cavern-like space, seemingly infinite in all directions. Inside there is what appears to be like a lunar rover There's a big light in the center, a doorway. It appears almost like Winnebago shaped. It's got a giant fin on top. And there, sitting on a throne, hovering above the ground as propelled by jet engines, is the lord of the house. It is a gigantic sea lion that is floating in this chair, putting the finishing touches on his lunar exploration module.
Okay. And so I'm with the Crestwoods. We go in. Well, let's try diplomacy before anything else. Good sir, are you the lord of this house? Its protector?
I am.
Well,
Are you my lunar exploration crew?
not quite. I'm actually something far greater. As soon as you hear my name and see the sigil that I bear on this here deed here, you may want to rethink how you address me. I saunter up to him and hand him the deed of the house.
He pauses with like a real serious look. His brow furrows. He looks at the seal. The last of the S-Clan have arrived.
Correct.
Just in time for us to salvage the city of Troika and achieve our destiny. You are here to help us. You are here to help us reach and explore the moon.
No, I'm here to live in my house.
But the moon, and gestures towards this like a jet engine rocket car. This was your family legacy, your father and your father's father and your father's father's father. This was all they would talk about, was how they set their lives towards building a vessel that would take us to the moon. This was their life's purpose. This entire house was built. Why do you think there's a rocket pad on the top of your house, if not to build the rocket that will take you and your family to the moon?
Buddy, father's father. I done promise as far back as you go, you ain't gonna find my daddy, because I'm the one that started this house. My name's Parker S. Ever heard of it?
Parker S. Well, surely. Aha. And, like, he kind of, like, sits back. He's, like, I think he floats towards a wall, takes a book, like a genealogy book off the shelves and starts flipping. Ah, the earliest descendant of the S-Clan. The earliest descendant.
I started that shit, man. Before that, we had a different last name, but then when we came over on the Space Mayflower, they changed my name to S.
Much has changed in your family's destiny since your humble origins on the farm. You face a great decision, final bearer of the S-Clan. Do you pick up the work of your descendants and do you head to the moon? Or do you forsake the family and leave it to me to reclaim the glory of your family? You can either get in the ship, or we will have a problem.
What? Okay, can I ask a couple clarifying questions before I get in the ship?
Yes.
Why do we need to go to the moon? What is that? Why is that what's up there? What do we need from there?
Well, it's your family destiny.
Right. No, I know that, but what happens when we get there? Why did we want to go there originally? What does that have to do with the big multi-universe house? Also, haven't people been to the moon you probably couldn't even count the number of times people have been to the moon, right? At this point, I mean, that's a pretty normal place to go, no?
Are you saying that people have gone to the other people have gone to the...
Yeah, man. How long have you been in here?
Well, I spoke to your father, his father, and so that must have been... How long have you been a skeleton? how long? When did you die?
Couple hundred years ago. I mean, I think it's hard to know with all that, you start losing concepts of the mortal world. It's sort of a portrait of Dorian Gray situation in a way.
Kind of calls over the three Sir Crestwoods, and is like, they're all like they start like referring to star charts and things. Oh my God, I've been working on this for 200 years.
Buddy, you've got some catching up to do.
Oh my God, I've missed so much. Are you telling me that people have been to the moon in that time?
A lot of times. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's in some ways more advanced than the civilization down here. I mean, they are cooking up there as far as I know.
Okay, so like they actually got to the moon though, because I'm gonna level with you, and he gestures towards the ropes on hooks that are clearly at the top of this ship that you did not notice before. I was fully prepared to just fake it and claim credit for it. This was just really going to be a ruse.
So what was going to happen when I got in the ship? You told me to get...
I was just going to take you to the other side of the cavern system. You were going to see the moon elephant. And... oh, God, that's honestly
just a normal elephant that you then called a moon elephant?
At that moment, you start hearing crashing and stomping towards your location.
Yeah. It's just a regular elephant, isn't it?
It's, listen, it was going to be very exciting and cool when it rampaged, which is why that we had been, making it angry and intentionally inflaming its temper for years.
What?
We should probably move, at which point, the quote unquote space vessel is torn to shreds by a rampaging elephant.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right. Well, all right. It's not my first time around the block. It's not the first time I've seen a madman go insane and goad animals into their own type of insanity for his insane machinations. What I need to know from you, Mr. Walrus, Mr. Sea Lion Man, is this my house?
This is, I say this with great pride, this is your house, and I guess also this is your elephant.
Well, then come on, help me stop this thing.
All right, let's everyone work together. We're gonna stop an elephant today.
Let's do it.
It's
Crestwood.
It's very, very angry. How are you planning on stopping this elephant?
Well, I am a big pile. I'm a bunch of bones, Mm-hmm. And I can shift into different forms. And what are elephants scared of? Mice.
That's
classic.
True.
I mean, this is a classic story. Everybody and their grandmother knows this. Elephants are scared of mouse. And what's even scarier than a mouse? Mouse made of bones.
That's
Bone
true.
Mouse.
No, that's a natural next step. That's a natural
Bone
evolution
mouse.
of that concept.
Bone mouse. Now, what I need from you guys is to buy me a little time. I need to spend a couple minutes shifting, and then I can turn into a bone mouse. Kinda. I mean, I'm hoping it looks close. I'm basically going to rearrange my spinal cord and then all my parts, and I'll probably hide the skull because I don't really know what. Maybe I could turn the skull around. That could be the nose of the mouse. And I need some time, is what I'm saying. Can you guys buy me some time?
You need time, you shall have. Warriors, assemble! And they rush at the. You've got time to test your luck. They rush at the elephant. Which is rampaging. It is clearly pissed off. It is looking for vengeance against the lord of the house. They rush at it, and I'm not going to say you have a lot of time because it's a rampaging elephant, and it massacres these three very, very quickly.
Totally.
Headbutt to one of them, they go straight into a pile of rocks. Another one is just straight up tries to rush it, gets headbutted and then trampled. It is a horrifying, ugly thing, but they do buy you at least a little bit of time while it wraps the third Sir Crestwood in its trunk and then just sort of slams it from wall to wall for a minute.
Right, totally. Okay, all right. Well, let's see what I can do. I'll roll 2d6.
Yeah, roll me 2d6. You're testing your luck, so you want to roll under a 10.
Okay. 4, 6, 10. So
10,
what
equal.
happens if I match?
Match. You're trying to roll equal or under, so you exactly do it. I think what I'm gonna say is, it exactly works. You have turned into a mouse. This thing rushes at you. The second, because it's a match, it's close, so we see it rush at you. It nearly stomps on you. It sees that you are a mouse. It rears back on its 2 back feet. It kind of tumbles backwards onto its back. It crushes the quote-unquote lunar vessel, and then kind of rolls over and starts like backing away in terror.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
It is thrashing and tearing through this elaborate cave system. We are watching this elaborate fake moon landing set get torn asunder to the great dismay of the Lord of the House. And it finally, like, it gets so stressed that it kind of passes out, falls over, and flops on its side and starts snapping.
Well, guys, I look around and I look for the Crestwoods. Is the seal guy dead too?
The seal guy has been knocked off of his chair and is like scrambling back into it. But I think that he's okay.
Look, we did it. Lord and protector of the Lord, your rightful master has returned and showed dominance over the animals that play pretend in my steed. Now, good sir, will you join me in my quest to start the best goddamn convenience store this house has ever seen?
I do have a bunch of recording equipment that we could probably sell and get an investment back on. So, call it a deal.
All right, there we go. I sort of put what is basically a bunch of my finger bones out that have turned into a little tail, but it's just a bunch of finger bones all stuck together, and I put it out to his hand like it's a hand.
I love it. He slaps it with his big, wet, floppy sea lion flipper, and the final thing that we see is the front of the house has been converted into a little shop. There are various items. There's a bunch of like fake moon landing filming equipment. We've got our candies and sodas. And at that moment, from the far east wing of the house, you hear clanking and stomping as a bunch of rusted robots come marching. And they arrive at the store just in time to say, "We are the rightful owners of this house as dictated from Automatown. We have come to claim our providence."
Yeah, but you're gonna have to buy something first.
Great. And that is game.
Hell yeah. Oh, that was
a
fun.
joy. That was a delight. Thank you so much for this. This was magnificent.
Ugh, I had such a good time. I love this is great.
I love the vibes. I pulled from a bunch of different little like micro adventures. All I was kind of stringing together on the fly, and all of them, like the vibes on them, are all really fun and weird.
Yeah.
This was a delight. What was your favorite moment from play?
I was really enamored with the crocodile character. I really liked whatever reason, the detail of him having a crushed velvet suit really brought him to life for me in a way that I can't quite describe, but I was just like, yep, I know exactly this motherfucker's deal now.
I can't even take credit for that. That's fully just how he's described in this adventure, the house on Lich Lane. But it's so funny to me, the second that you said you wanted to turn this house into a shop, this character is described as a crocodilian merchant and is like meant to be here to like buy magical items that you come across. And I was like, it's so funny that there was already a guy in this room, in the first room that you find, that is trying to do the same thing. And like, that's just gotta be the crux of the adventure.
Oh, I love it. It's very, I don't know if you play Magic the Gathering, but it was giving me very Duskmorn vibes.
Sure.
Yeah, which I love. It was like a house that goes on forever. It's such a fun setting.
This was magnificent. Thank you so much for this. Before we wrap things up, where can people find you and your work online?
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/TheLukeMan. And then on every other platform, I'm usually TheLukeMans with an S at the end, because except for on Twitch, every single place I tried to get the LukeMan handle, the LukeMan is already owned by a child. Different children seem to own it, and none of them want to give it up to me. So the LukeMan or the LukeMans, you can find me on all platforms. But yeah, I stream on Twitch basically every weekday. On stores, my podcast with another streamer, Dead Blossom Jesse, is wherever podcasts can be found.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for this. I am absolutely beaming. This was a joy. And now I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take
Perfect.
it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Luke for coming onto the show. I had so much fun re-listening to that episode as we were editing it, because, like, it's so clear that, like, we are just having a blast bouncing around ideas, and, like, I'm having so much fun throwing very silly, stupid things at Luke and having Luke's bag of bones skeleton just go, I don't know, man, I'm just trying to open a house. Really joyful, really wonderful, really fantastically happy experience. I could not be happier with this episode. Wherever you're at on social media, be sure to follow Luke at TheLukeMan. You can also check the show notes for links to Luke's Twitch, where you can catch Fortnite Talk Show, which again is such an absolute delight. And be sure to check the show notes for a link to the YouTube page for Stores, a podcast about stores. You can also follow us on social media, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts or your social posts, at Party of One Podcast. Or you can head to buttondown.com/partyofonepodcast and sign up to our monthly-ish newsletter, where we post new episodes and give kind of updates on what's going on with the show. Or the other place that you can get those updates is on Patreon at patreon.com/JeffStormer. You can, support the show as well as all the other things, and then get access to bonus episodes, a Party of One side series like Party of One Plus One, which is our sequel series, and Party of None, which is our solo game series, as well as funky side projects like Batman Bump in the Night and Superman Walk in the Sun. If you enjoy this show, you should check out the other podcast we produce, All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast inspired by tabletop RPGs. My best friend Aaron Catano Size and I take a listener-submitted prompt every single episode. We spin it into an original character and populate a shared universe, one story at a time. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming onto the show as guests, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.